Speaking of impact, I'm super thrilled to invite onto the stage someone who works at a company that has had a lot of impact on the world, I think, for a long time. I want to say something like 170 years, but maybe even more so, or more notably so, in 2021, which is Jonathan Lowe from Pfizer. And I'm super excited to hear the impact that Graph has in his world. Jonathan, welcome up on stage. How's it going?
It's going well. Thanks, Emil.
Small little informal chat between us, 600, 700 of our friends and thousands of people on YouTube.
Just you and me. Well, I'd like to take that opportunity to break the plane and say something personal.
Please.
I absolutely love graph modeling. And it's not the kind of thing that is easy to keep your relatives engaged with, or at a cocktail party, that people kind of move away. But it's so gratifying to be here with a group of people, with 1,000 people that get it and that know how powerful it is. So thank you for coming together. It's a pleasure to be here.
I love that. I love that, although I have to say at some of the cocktail parties that I go to, we do talk about graph modeling. Cool. So thank you for doing this. It's a pleasure to hear all the amazing things that Pfizer has been doing with graphs. So maybe a good start is, I'm sure everyone here knows Pfizer at a high level, but maybe you can start with just telling people what is Pfizer today at a high level from your perspective, and more specifically, what do you do at Pfizer?
Sure. So what I'd like to share at a database conference about Pfizer is that it's a big biopharmaceutical company. And those two adjectives are the key. The biopharmaceutical part is we make medicines that people put in their bodies, that many of you have probably put into your body quite recently as a result of the pandemic. And we, at Pfizer, want to make sure that everything people put into their bodies from our products is safe. So we go to great lengths to ensure the quality of those medicines. And the regulators make sure that we're following our own rules. And we do that by tracking every single step of the end-to-end process. Where do we buy our raw materials? From whom? What manufacturing processes do we use to make the materials? What quality lab tests and results do we get? Where do we send them? Which distribution centers? Which markets do they end up in? At every step of the way, there's a minute level of detail of who ran the machine, and who ran the test, and who reviewed the results, and so on and so on, which for a data scientist is a gold mine. It's an incredible opportunity. So that's the biopharma piece. But then there's the big biopharma piece. The big part is Pfizer didn't get to 45 plus manufacturing sites and 200 quality labs around the world overnight. We got there in large part through acquisition. We bought other companies that make biopharmaceutical products. And everybody knows who's been through an acquisition that the IT systems on the day of the acquisition don't just magically match up. There's a lot of work to be done to unify and to synthesize, and for periods of time, there are data silos. And that, for a data scientist, is a big challenge. So we have this wonderful opportunity and this big challenge, all at the same time.
Awesome. And so maybe dovetailing off that, so can you speak a little bit to how you've tried to overcome that and where you've been successful, what have been challenges, and how graphs have been helpful in that?
Sure. So my team, the Operations Insights team, has the job of helping the manufacturing and quality labs and distribution centers find more efficient ways of doing business. And to do that, we're often called upon to join things up across that data landscape. For instance, if you think about a finished product, it didn't just come into being, it had a whole genealogy of history of making the finished product. It's sort of like a family tree. And if you have to work all the way back to the grandparents, which were the raw materials, sometimes we need to know, where did this come from? If that's joined up properly in the beginning, the answers to those questions come much more quickly. So genealogy is a place where the graph technology enables us to get, instead of 3-week or 3-month times to get the answer, more like 3 seconds or 3 minutes. Very important, especially in a pandemic. In the pandemic, the C-suite approached my team and said, we've got to get this right. Every single batch, when we first start manufacturing vaccine, has to be perfect. And to do that, we, the C-suite, are going to micromanage every step of the way. They used the word micromanage. A C-suite member saying this. And how do we do that? Well, at any time, on any day, we need to be able to know where is each batch in the process, who's working on it, what are the cycle times, what are the quality results, when will it be released, where is it going to go, and when will it get there? One C-suite member said, I have a call with the Prime Minister next week. She may ask me, when's my vaccine going to get here? And I want to be able to tell her, you actually already received it in this amount on this week, and so on. To do that, you can't be worrying about the joins in the moment. They have to be there already. So again, a wonderful opportunity for graph technology to connect the data in advance.
That's amazing. I personally have 3 shots of Pfizer, so thank you. What's your, I mean, we talked about this yesterday over lunch. I know it's super hard to quantify, but what's your best guess, gut feeling of the impact, right? How much faster did the Pfizer COVID vaccine roll out thanks to graph technology?
Well, I would have to tip my hat to the manufacturing and quality people themselves. But I think the consistency and Pfizer's success at avoiding pitfalls was actually definitely enhanced by the knowledge that we were able to bring any moment of the day on where things were at the moment and who to reach out to about any issues that might be arising. So it had a material impact on the ongoing availability and quality of Pfizer's vaccine, without a doubt. Now, another thing, just a shout out to folks that are doing what I'm trying to do, which is build a practice within a big company that has data science and connected data. One of the things that we noticed about our own effectiveness was we build web applications, not just for the C-suite, but for the manufacturing and quality labs and so on. We decided we would track every person's usage and plot it on a graph, not this kind of graph, a chart. And we wanted to see how many people are using our apps and how often and how much. And as you would expect, as the apps became more popular, that line went up to the right. At the same time, we plotted the metrics that the applications were supposed to improve. For instance, the frequency of shipping a finished good on time out of a factory to the public. And interestingly enough, those 2 lines were incredibly tightly correlated. So to people that are trying to build their own products and their own teams out there, if you want to show your leadership that connected data can tell some good stories, try connecting the usage of your tools to the metrics of the company, and you might get some good surprises.
That's amazing. Yeah. Cool. And so where are you going from here in terms of graphs at Pfizer? What are the exciting things on the horizon for you?
It's funny that the more we get the message out about connected data, the more opportunities pop up.
Yeah.
In the last week and a half, 5 or was it 6 new projects came out of the woodwork of people saying, oh, well, if you know, for instance, where a person has worked on which machines and we have a new person coming in, could we automatically recommend training based on the training that people have that are already doing the work? Simple stuff like that, but it's everywhere. So that's coming out of the woodwork, and I look forward to getting to applications faster because the data is already there. And then the other thing I'm even more excited about is the democratization of our data. And hearing it in all the presenters you've shared so far, I think in the same way that coming to this conference and being with people that understand data and graph and the power of it is exciting, it will be equally exciting in my own company to bring in business people and non-technical people to the conversation. It's just more fun when more people get it. So I'm really looking forward to the increasing accessibility of the data and the knowledge of how these companies, how our company works, and how to make it better.
I love both of those points. I think what you just said with the 5 projects popping up, that's that network effect, the use case network effect, right? That we're frequently seeing. People start out, once they've graphed out their data for one use case, they realize that, wait, this data can be used over here and over here and over here. And then you join in more data sets and it gets even more powerful, right? And then the other part there, we always talk about whiteboard friendliness, right? And how what you draw on the whiteboard, you being the domain expert, not the techie, the domain expert, right? What you draw on the whiteboard, having that one-to-one reflected in the database, and I believe also in the cognitive head, like in the cognitive model of the developer and the data scientist, have that one-to-one mapping, I think over time is going to emerge as one of the most powerful things of the property graph model.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Fantastic, John. This is amazing. Thank you so much for doing this and for all the work that you're doing with graphs at Pfizer.
Thank you, Emil.
Fantastic. Thank you.